yes, David should go because he's competing in it. So if any of you have nothing to do tonight, come to the contest because it should be good. It should be very interesting. I've gone to the area contest, but this will be the first time I've gone to the district contest. So without any additional fanfare, let's invite Kelly up, our Toastmaster for the day.
Good afternoon, everybody. I apologize for not putting up the agenda. I didn't know that was my role, so that was really my fault. Today's theme is Earth Day. It's appropriate because today is Earth Day, and I want to give you some facts about Earth Day. Gaylord Nelson was a U.S. senator, founded Earth Day in April 22nd, 1970, so about 45 years ago. And 20 years later, around 1990, it started in the U.S., and 20 years later, now it becomes worldwide. In Earth Day, more than 100,000 people ride bikes in China to reduce CO2 emissions. So it's worldwide, and let's get in the spirit of celebrating Earth Day. As a Toastmaster, I'm here to introduce and MC the entire meeting to make sure everything gets on time and things flow along the meeting. And the first person I'd like to introduce is Yaron, the General Evaluator.
Hello. I will be the General Evaluator today, and I will have 3 helpers. One of them will be the accounter, which is Anjana. So Anjana, can you tell a few words about it?
Today my role is accounter. I'll be listening to all the speeches and speakers who are talking today, and I'll be counting filler words like like, so. I'll also be counting for double clutches, repeating words twice, and I'll report at the end of the meeting.
Thank you. And the second one will be the timer.
I'm the timer today. I will calculate the time for the speakers and table topics speakers. When the speech is around 4 minutes, I will show the green card. When the speech is around 5 minutes, I will show the yellow card. That means they are going to stop the meeting, start the speech. When it is 6 minutes, they need to stop the speech.
Thank you. The second will be the grammarian, and which is
Shiva. So guys, I'm going to be the grammarian today. The word of the day is drab. I'll put it down on the board there. It basically means not bright and not colorful, something very dull and plain. And the usage will be he lives a drab life. So I'm going to be looking for usages of this word in the tribal topics or in speeches whenever you're speaking. That would be great. And also I'll be looking for any grammatical mistakes and try to catch them and pinpoint and make sure that it gets corrected in the evaluation.
So I'm not sure, should I introduce also the evaluator, or we finish with the... Okay, all right, thank you. So,
I forgot to mention about Yaron's Earth Day, his Earth Day thoughts. Like the Earth and all for improving our environment, but he's afraid to make it a new religion. So that's Yaron's Earth Day thoughts. And I'd like to introduce the first speaker, which is Prash. Oh, Prash. All right. His Earth Day thoughts is according to him, he thinks Earth Day should be every day. It's every individual's responsibility to reside on this planet and keep it in the best condition for our present and future generation. I'd like to introduce Suresh.
Hello everyone. Hello Toastmasters, and I think there are no guests. So hello Toastmasters. I am Paresh Tyagi, and today I'm going to talk about a most important question of my childhood. The most important question of my childhood was, what will I like to become when I grow up? And my thought goes back, and since that day till date, I think, what will I like to become when I grow up? Because I'm growing every day. When as a child I wanted to be an adult, and as an adult, I will, at the end of the speech, I will tell what I will like to be when I grow up. So this was introduction because of Mr. Ritesh. I was inspired to pick a topic and speak about it. Last weekend I was thinking, I was not sure what will be the topic I will be talking today. And I have a teenager kid. My son is around 13 years age, so he has become a teenager before 18. Was just casually talking about him, you should start focusing on your future and think and plan accordingly. And I asked him the same question, what will you like to become when you grow up? And as a very curious teenager, my son asked the same question back to me. What were you dreaming when you were of my age? And what would have you been dreaming and thinking you would be at my age? This was the turning point and the point that brought this topic for me for discussion. That came out and it exploded all my memories of childhood from my mind. And I stopped asking him questions and just kept quiet and started dreaming and thinking about my childhood. And he was free, he left me, he was playing his game, and he was free. But I got my topic that I'm discussing here today. What was my dreams, what was I thinking when I was a teenager, what I would like to be? That was the best question I was always being asked since childhood. I'm sure every one of us would have heard that question from our parents and friends. So whenever any relative or friends of my father used to visit my house, they used to talk to me, they ask my name, and next thing, now you are grown up, what will you like to become? And I used to just smile and never answer because I didn't have that answer. What will I like to become? One day my father, he was my inspiration. At that time, he told me, you should plan things. You should think about your future and get plan and execute so that you get your dreams fulfilled. I thought, yes, he's my boss, my father, he's my guardian, he knows things correctly. From tomorrow, I will start thinking and planning what will I like to become. So I used to walk to school. My school was around 1 kilometer, it's around 0.6 miles from my house. So I decided on that day, I will start exploring all around me and see the adults, how they live the life. Because for me, adults' life was the best life. They don't have to study. They don't have exams. Nobody stops them from doing anything. They can do anything they like. That's the best thing. So what I wanted to become first was, I wanted to be an adult. Next question for my mind was, what these adults do? That there's no exams. Why they don't have exams? Why they don't have anyone stopping them? I want to explore that. So while walking towards my school, the first shop, just as soon as I get out of my house, was one shop. The shop was to sell cigarettes. So I saw that even at the morning 7 a.m., there was a crowd of at least 10, 12 people standing there. I felt like how popular that guy is, how successful that guy is, that everybody wants to be at his shop at 7 a.m. I thought I want to be that guy. I want to open a shop where I can sell cigarettes, and I loved it. That idea. Oh, I got mine. I wanted to be a cigarette seller. That's it. My life was beautiful. That day I had a very good day in my school. I had achieved what I wanted. Came back from school, had lunch. Oh, my mom, she was a teacher. She used to come after that. So I ran to her and said, Eureka, today I achieved what I wanted. I know, now I have my goals in life. I can do what I want. What is that? My mom asked. I want to open a shop and that I want to sell a cigarette. I want to sell cigarettes because I will have so many friends, I will be popular everywhere, and everybody wants cigarettes. So I am happy. My mom smiled and didn't respond. And I know her nature, when she doesn't respond to me, she doesn't like it, but, yeah, but I was very happy. At least when someone else asked me a question, what will you like to become when you grow up? I will have the answer. I want to sell cigarettes. A week or two passed by, and as usual, a new friend of my father visited our house. He asked my name, and second thing he asked the beautiful question, what will I like to become when I grow up? I had the answer ready. I was very excited. I said, I know what I would like to become. And he says, what? I want to be a cigarette seller. I want to open a big shop with all the cigarettes of the world in there and have fun. He encouraged me, saying that you are doing the right thing. Along with cigarettes, start selling liquor. You will be even more profitable. That was the best thing. I thought that's where I will be. I told this to my father, and that was the end of it. My dreams were settled. He was a doctor. He told me, think of a doctorate. If you don't want to be a doctor, become an engineer. Okay? I don't want to be like my father. At that age, my father, who I used to see, he used to work day and night. I didn't want to work that day. So I became an engineer, and here I am in front of you, working day and night. And yeah, I'm still thinking, what will I like to become when I grow up? And the answer for that is, I want to be a kid. Because my childhood was the best thing, and my dreams are still, I want to be a kid rather than anything else what I am doing. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Before we bring out our second speaker, I'd like to bring Ritesh. He has an announcement to make.
Yeah, we started in a very different way today, so we missed an important announcement. Among the announcement, we have the thing is, Ramesh has been our treasurer for the club for the full year, actually, and he is moving on. So we had this option of putting a ballot for you to actually nominate yourself for the treasurer role, and Ashwini has taken that as role, and she has no competition from it. So I think we have unanimously selected Ashwini as our treasurer, so that's one announcement I want to bring.
She will have all the cash and parties will be arranged by her.
Everything which Ramesh is passing on to her. Yeah. So thank you. That's the we can continue with the meeting from now.
Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Richard to give his speech. His speech title will be, Have You Seen Tofu?
Going to turn off the light?
No. Absolutely not.
Thank you for that.
Good to know.
Maybe we can write the evaluation so far for,
Yeah.
and in this 1 minute, until you get ready.
Yeah.
You will see Michael.
No. Have you seen tofu? Everybody ready? Tofu! Here, boy! Tofu, come on! Come here! Tofu! Mar, have you seen Tofu? He's not not coming when I call. I haven't seen him since I let him out about 10 or 15 minutes ago. God, he's escaped again. Do any of you have dogs? Give me a show of hands. I'm a pet owner. I actually have 2 dogs. 2 dogs. On the right is Nikki. She's 14 years old. She is partially deaf, partially blind, a little senile. She goes into our backyard and it's like the first time she's ever seen it, but that's okay, she has a good time. On the left is Tofu. He's 11. He was named the night we got him at dinner, as you could tell, Tofu. And he is our household problem child. You have to understand, Tofu thinks that he is an escape artist. And there is nothing that he can't escape from. So I don't think you really understand the magnitude of the problem. So I thought I'd show a quick video. Come on. You. So this was actually taken by my daughter. This is, I edited down like a 5-minute video.
Oh my God.
He is unashamed. He's proud of this. In the middle of this video, he came and my daughter called him and he came and he sat there and it's like, oh, look at me, you should be proud of me, look at what I do. And then he went right back to digging. And he went to the other side and then my daughter called him again and he came back. This is the best thing since sliced bread for him. He thinks it's fantastic. Us, not so much. As you can tell by the drab fence, it's seen better days. This actually took place about a month before we replaced our back fence. When we replaced it, we added a foot of chicken wire, stapled to the bottom of the fence and then buried underground in order to prevent the little sucker from escaping. Not that that matters.
Oh gosh.
Luckily, our neighbors like Tofu. He's a very friendly dog. He really likes the attention that he gets from everyone. We're very used to receiving the phone call, "Hi, Rich. Tofu's here. Do you want to come pick him up?" He's so good that if he escapes from one yard, that's not enough from him. He may escape from another yard. One of our neighbors called to say he had them. And my wife went down to pick up the dog. And who's trotting towards him? Towards her? She's coming to pick him up. But Tofu, he's escaped from the neighbor's yard. Another time, right before we replaced our side fence, he escaped from our house, walked down the street, took a left, made it halfway down the block, saw a garage door was open, went into the garage, through the side door of the garage, into the backyard, and popped up onto to a woman who was sitting on a chaise lounge reading a book, as if to say, "Hi, I'm Tofu, nice to meet you." There are good things, though. He acts as a new fence detector. We know when he's escaping a lot, it's time to get a new fence. In fact, we have a game we play. It's called Tofu Roulette. And for Tofu Roulette, what happens is you take 2 dogs, you put them out in the backyard in the beginning of the day, and when you come home, the game is how many are there. 2, 1, 0. Spin the wheel, let's find out. As I mentioned, last summer we replaced our side fence. And again, we did the deal with the chicken wire below the fence. And we put in a new gate. And for the most part, things have been fairly okay. And then last Thursday, my wife came home. And what she came home to, Come on, go to the next. Oh, there we go. Is this?
Oh.
You see, Tofu decided that he needed to put his own specific mark on the gate. It wasn't enough that it was his. He really wanted to make sure we knew that how much he appreciated us getting a new gate. and just to really fully get the most of it, this is our other dog, Nikki, looking through this hole that Tofu chewed. This is the motivation for this speech, because that's how I spent my Sunday, was doing fence repair. It means I got to take a trip to Home Depot, which was always fun, and I got to do play with power tools, which is especially fun, but that's a different story. And in the end, I was able to construct a little bit of prevention. That's a steel plate. I have one on each side of the door. There's a piece of wood inside it so that he actually doesn't go over it. And it seems so far to have stopped him. So the question that comes to mind is, why do we have the dog? What's wrong with us? And the answer is, he's part of our family. And how can you not love a face like that? I mean, look at that. He just reaches out to you and says, love me, love me. Hold on a second. Do you guys know where Tofu is? He just got out. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Great story. I'd like to give you guys a minute to write down your comments. Next, I'd like to introduce our table topic masters, Nita.
Thanks, Joe, for this suggestion. So what we are going to do is I will call someone, or you can volunteer if you want to speak today. And you have to pick something from here. You can see there is no surprises in here. And you have to make a tall tale. As you all know, as just said, today is a tall tale day. So you can make whatever story you want to make using these gadgets or things. Does anyone want to volunteer? If not, Karen, you want to come?
I chose this. Chose the first. Okay. So when I was a child, I was always shy when I was going to the board, and maybe until I was like 15 or 16, I was extremely shy for going to the board, and always when I was writing things, I was writing it very, very weak. So nobody actually has to erase it. It was like you look at it after I wrote it and you don't understand exactly what I wrote at all. I mean, it's like, and I remember when I was writing my homework, this teacher was coming and saying, "Why didn't you do your homework?" And that was also maybe when I was like 10 years old. Why didn't you do your homework? And she was angry about it. It wasn't nice at one time, but and then I thought she's so nice. I don't want to go to speak with her. I didn't tell her I did the homework, but the child that was near me said to her, "He did the homework," because his eyesight was much better. So and she said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." And she looked and saw that I did all the page with homework, and she was very surprised. And then after a few times I learned that she can never see if I do the homework or not. So I stopped doing the homework. And every time she said, "Do you do the homework?" I said, "Yes." And then immediately after that, I was, and she said, "Okay, read the answers." I was just saying whatever I thought, and that's all. So that's reminding me this story. Thank you.
This country years back, I had never seen grapefruit. In India, it's not a readily available fruit. So when I came here, I was working at a company, and this lady, beautiful, pretty lady from Brazil, she would always eat something with a big clove of orange. And I would ask, once I went there, "Hey, what are you eating?" I've never seen this kind of fruit before. And she says, "Oh, really? You should eat this. This is awesome. You see, I don't have any fat. Because of that, I eat every day, and that is the advantage, that's the benefit of eating grapefruit." I said, wow. I was encouraged. I would eat grapefruit. I went to the store, I got this cut grapefruit. And first thing I'm putting in my mouth is, wow! This is bitter. This is the most bitter fruit I've ever had. And then I came back to her. I went back to her next day. I said, "You said this is the really delicious fruit." I said, "This is bitter. I can never imagine eating this fruit any time in my life." She said, "Can you show me that fruit that you picked up from the store?" And then next day, I said, "This is the kind of fruit I was talking about." And she said, "This is grapefruit. But you picked the wrong one. You should have picked the grapefruit which has a reddish color coating, not the raw one." I said, "Whoa, wow." So that was the lesson learned. Now on, I drink only this. I never pick up grapefruit raw to be consumed. Thank you.
Sure, it looked like a knife. To you also? Is it a knife? For me, if I see it as a spoon or a fork, this is actually the toy which my little daughter is actually having right now. Whenever I will sit for having my dinner, she will pick the spoon in my hand, she will pick the fork in my plate, or she will demand one. So every time now when I see like the spoons and all, I don't have to go to the kitchen actually. Just look around, you will find it in some corner of the house. So that's what it has been going till now. The only thing which I worry about is she has not picked up the fork. We don't use generally fork in our home for eating. Being vegetarian, obviously we don't need much of cutting much. But I do worry about she is getting fascinated with what her mom is doing in the kitchen. Like washing the dishes, or let's say even cutting the vegetables. She is fascinated today, and I am worried how it will happen tomorrow. I don't want to see the knife, lying somewhere on the sofa before I sit on that. So for now, it's going good, but I wish this remains a plastic knife and safe for even the kids play. Thank you.
How about the time check? How
It's Tall Tales, right?
Yes.
Hopefully this won't be drab. I can't. This reminded me of this weird Comedy Central movie called The Hebrew Hammer. I forgot about it. And yeah, I forgot all the details about the Hebrew Hammer. Hammers are always interesting because they're a tool. They're used to build houses. They can actually be used as a weapon. I don't even know if they were actually used as a weapon. Well, common tool, very fascinating. You build houses. You can keep dogs out from your neighbor's yard. That's all I can really think of right now.
All I can think about this is this. I would have not said anything. Do you have time? We do. Sarah, you want to come? Or you can take this pen. Okay.
Just trying to build a tall tale with this one. The thing that came to my mind when I saw this in that basket was, I don't think I can survive a day without, or even an hour without this thing after moving to US. And to think that back in India, when at least I was growing up, now things have changed. There are not lots of napkins around any restaurants that you go. But when I was growing up, and I'm pretty sure most of us from India, when we were growing up, this was something that we would have never seen, or very rarely. When you go to a fancy restaurant, probably you get to see this one, right? It's not part of a common man's life. So, and to see, or to think about from where to where I've moved over the last 15 years is something amazing. That was what came to my mind when I saw this. Thank you.
Who I should give it back to?
Thank you, Nita. Next, I'd like to call on the general evaluator to give her to call on another Yarn.
Thank you. So before, can we just
Even
make the count for the
Oh, yes.
for voting, please? So let me invite Pooja to make the evaluation for speech one of Paresh.
So I will be evaluating Paresh instead of Pooja. So Paresh, it was a very interesting speech. It was not at all drab. It was not drab. So the topic that you selected, what you want to do when you grow up, was a very interesting topic in the sense each and every one of us, probably when they were kids, has gone through the same thought process, and their parents must have pestered them with the same question as to what you want to do when you grow up. And with that topic itself, I think we all could relate to your speech. It was very well prepared and very well rehearsed speech. Your second speech was all about organizing your speech, and that's what I like, because you started with today. You started with, okay, what is happening currently? So you talking with your son and questioning, and then him putting it back on you, and you went back in your childhood, and you brought us back again to today. So it went in a complete circle. So I felt that was very well organized. What I felt could aspect, but I felt that you did many role plays, right? You were your kid, then you were your uncle. So you could have enacted it in that way, as if there were two people talking or interacting, that you could have improved on. So overall, I really liked it. You had a very good hand gestures, very good presence here, and the most important thing was your story was really funny, and love really makes people to relate to and to listen to people. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pooja. And let me call Joe to make the evaluation for Rich speech.
Thanks for giving us a speech, and you made my job really hard. There's a lot of things I liked about it. The weird title. I thought you were going to tell us the benefits of consuming tofu. But it turns out you were talking about the dog. At the outset, you got our attention, and I don't think anybody in the room could have looked away the way you called your dog. Even from there, and also one thing I liked is when you started having heartburn problems at the beginning, it didn't seem to faze you at all. You were just stand up here confidently. And yeah, like I said, it doesn't faze you at all. Your gestures were very good. I couldn't really tell I really have to really nitpick anything wrong with them. And I especially liked how you stepped away whenever you had something on the screen and showed it with your hand. I'm getting really nitpicky here. There was a little time where your jaw kind of shook when you were a little nervous, but then that got away. And you have the Silicon Valley curse, where with the posture. I have it too. So I don't really know how to fix it. Some guy says you could try imagine putting a quarter between your butt cheeks and suspending it. If I'm nervous, I cannot do that. You had great timing, great vocal brag. You raised your voice when you got excited, but you softened it down. And that made things interesting. But it was fantastic seeing you give a speech. You always have these clever stories, and they're wonderful and never drab. Thank you.
So I will do now the evaluation, but before I would like to call the timer. So the timer is you.
One of the two. Yeah, first speaker, Parish, is on time. He took 6 minutes and 55 seconds for his speech. The speaker to Rich took 6 minutes and 55 seconds. Table topic speakers, first one Aaron took 2 minutes. The speaker to Kavita took 1 minute 50 seconds. Speaker to Ritesh took 1 minute 9 seconds. Joe took 45 seconds and Saira took 49 seconds. Evaluators, Rashmi took 1 minute 39 seconds. Joe took 1 minute and 33 seconds.
Thank you, Ritesh. And now the accountant.
So I'll start with Kelly. You had few filler words, about 3, and no double clutches. I couldn't find any other filler words. Yaron, you had about 6 like, and there was just 1 double clutch, for. Ramesh had 2 Paresh had 2 R's and 2 so's, and there was just 1 double clutch, I. And Kavita had no R's. Ritesh had 1. Joe had 1. Saira had 1. Rashmi had 4. And Rich had 8 and there were 3 double clutches, in and the. Yeah, that's all I have.
Shifa Begum-Mariam.
Alright, so I'll start by saying thank you for the folks who used the word of the day. I know Richard, Joe, and Gary used it well. So I'll start with the Toastmaster. I could not really find any grammatical mistakes, so you are awesome there. For speech 1, Paresh, I really loved your speech. Just one small grammatical issue. You said that your son said, "What would you have been dreaming?" My suggestion would be, "What were you dreaming of when you were a kid?" And then you said, "Your mom responded." You should probably put it as, "Your mom responded." Richard, no flaws from the grammatical aspect. for the table topics, Yaren, you mentioned that for your teacher, she said she can never see for the homework perspective, and you could have probably put it as she could not see your homework. Kavita, you mentioned any time in my life. You could have probably phrased it as never in my life. Ritesh, you mentioned how it will happen tomorrow. You could probably phrase it as what will happen tomorrow. No grammatical mistakes for Joe, Sarah, or the managers.
Thank you, Shilpa. So this meeting was very different. First of all, Sheila was not here, and I think Sheila, as far as when I was a Toastmaster, she was printing all the sheets and it was ready ahead of time. So anybody could see before the meeting who is making what. And so one of the things that if you have a role like maybe Toastmaster or evaluator, it's better to print the roles just from the email because it might not be ready. So there was a small delay, and I think Rich took a good decision to start the meeting fairly on time, and we started from there. Okay, let's go. All in all, I think the speeches today were extremely funny and very nice said in both in a very human way as well. I mean, I liked it. The approach was not condescending or something like you explaining and say how much you know, but it was really nice level of delivery. I liked it both, and I think it set the atmosphere for a very nice atmosphere. All in all, meeting. Everybody did its part as good as he could. So generally, and I think the evaluations were really good as well. So from my point of view, very good meeting.
Can we get a drum roll, please? And today's tabletop winner for tabletop is Kavita. Next, I'd like to bring in the VP, Ritesh, to close out.
You started, so why not?
Oh, sorry, Richard.
This is actually one of my lifelong dreams. I've been wanting to tell you that.